Idiot.
This meeting is being recorded.
So Dinesh, are you in Vancouver right now?
Yeah, I am. You woke me up early, Bram, today. It's 6:30 here in
6:30, yeah.
Vancouver. 6:30. Okay. But the good part is my son goes into some other program and he had his session also. So this is what I call it as you're saying, self-directed leadership. So he's following his father footsteps to see, "Hey, if my dad is doing it 6:30 or vice versa. If he's doing it, then I have to do it also."
Uh-huh.
Right? But yeah, 6:30 in Vancouver at the moment.
Wow.
That was the reason I was leaning against the pole to get more energy to start off at 6:30.
Your sound is breaking up there, Dinesh.
Are you can't hear me correctly?
Yes, but it tends to break up a bit from time to time.
Oh, okay.
Rob? Before we start, I do want to say that you look handsome with your very colorful, vibrant bow tie.
Now you know my head has become so big I can't even be in this meeting. Anymore.
It works for virtual meetings. You need a big head.
And still, you're not mentioning my bow tie.
Mariana, all yours. It's 9:30. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm the Sergeant at Arms today. My name is Mariana Burka, and welcome to our meeting Leadership Speak. Our mission is in this club to provide mutual support and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Our Toastmaster today is Bram Enon. Bram has attained the DTM designation twice. He has been a Toastmaster for 20 years. Club Road Director in the year 21-22, Coach of the Year to 2020. Professionally, Master Coach in the space of personal mastery and leadership, consultant and coach to lead large organizations. Chief Architect and Design Mastermind behind Leadership Speak Spectacular Success from launch to charter in 1 week. He is the immediate past president of Miss Speak Toastmaster. Miss Speak Toastmaster was awarded the Club of the Year during his tenure as club president. He was ranked one of the top 4 clubs globally by Morsels. Please welcome Bram Enon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariana, for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not speaking, can you please unmute yourselves? Thank you very much for the consideration. Self-directed leadership. I've been asked before we started the meeting, what is self-directed leadership? Well, the first thing is we did a survey of members before this meeting as to what they thought was what self-directed leadership was, and they had quite a number of things to say. And I will be reading off that what they've said during this meeting as we go along, and there's a pretty good wide variety of ideas as to what self-directed leadership really means. But we all know that in pathways, in Toastmasters, and especially in pathways, it clearly states that you have to be self-directed. Being an advanced club, we emphasize on being a self-directed leader. And it is part of our vision statement, the premier club that creates self-directed leaders. Or I'm ad-libbing, of course. Brent will tell me, but I don't have it right in front of me. One of the first things, of course, is that self-directed people or leaders take the initiative and they are in charge of their life. They have the courage. They have the courage to be responsible and be accountable for whatever they are doing. So there's a lot of accountability and responsibility involved in being self-directed. And what that means is that learning takes place much quicker and progress is exponential. That is what self-directed leadership is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is going to be a bit different. We are going to ask the audience to vote for what they think is self-directed leadership. So I'm speaking from a station far, far away. Before I go into that, we took a survey, and of the 23 members, 17 completed the survey. 6 have not yet got around to doing it, and I'm sure they will probably get around to it at some point in time. So we're looking forward to that. All right. As I'm serving this audience over here, I think what we will do is I'm going to ask the audience for participating in a survey. So I will put up a poll, and the poll will give you multiple choices of what you think, and even the members can answer that, and the guest as well can answer this. You can. There's multiple choices in the poll. However, I would suggest that you choose only 2 that you think is what a self-directed leader is. Okay. So I'll put up the poll in a second, and here it is. And you can choose only 2 what you think is. And while you're doing that, we will continue with the meeting. Now, of course, as we all know, this is a Toastmasters, and sometimes people can make it to the meeting and sometimes something happens and they're not able to make it to the meeting. And because some people have not been able to make it to the meeting, we need somebody to raise the toast to self-directed leadership. So I will ask one of our members to be self-directed and put themselves on the spot and do a toast for self-directed leadership. Any self-directed leader here among the members? Please raise your hand.
I can do the toast.
Wonderful. Nikita, thank you very much for jumping in. All right, I will close this poll because it's been on for a little while. And here are the results. As you can see, the results currently. I've taken a picture, so we will know exactly what that is. Okay, Nikita, go ahead and tell us, raise the toast, please. Because I don't think I see Sharon Jenkins here, right? Before we move on. Sharon Jenkins is not in the room. So Nikita, the toast, please.
I am ready for the toast. This toast is to all the self-directed leaders who are joining us today. We have become self-aware. We have taken the steps towards building our vision. We have brought others with us to build towards a common vision. And we continue to build, to grow, to learn, to support. So this is for all, I don't know if you can see here we go, is for all the self-directed leaders who are here today, who made it to this meeting, to this gathering. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much. So that was an interesting poll. Here's the results again, if you can see on the screen. People said self-awareness, aligning personal and team goals as a second, and so on. Vision, goal setting, team playing, all sorts of things, and people have voted accordingly. So that's that. We will talk to it as we go along the meeting, and you'll understand why I asked you that question. Now, our next role is the grammarian, And our grammarian is Prasanna Jayakumar. Prasanna, if you can please explain your role.
Hello, everyone. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. Today, I'll be playing the word of the day. The word of the day is autonomous. I've chosen the word of the day, of course, to support brand theme. The adjective can be used like having the freedom to govern itself or control its own affairs. Example, leaders have full autonomy in their own areas. It means there is no restrictions or there are no obstacles. With the leaders having the determination and the clear vision, they have all the autonomous to do whatever they want to achieve. I'll observe also good usages, not so good usages this meeting, and I shall submit the report at the end of the session when called upon. Over to you, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very appropriate word of the day for self-directed leaders. Be autonomous, because self-directed does mean being autonomous and being in charge of your life. Now, here's some of the things that people have said in the survey that we sent to the members beforehand as to what they thought of being a self-directed leader. So some of them said, if I can read this on my iPad here, some people said to be self-directed means not to be told what to do. Become innovative, think outside the box, and be creative as well. So that's what some of them said. Let's see. Well, somebody said knowing what is required or needed and then being intentional in action to perform whatever is needed, while always being considerate of your impact on the team as well as a whole. What somebody else said, self-awareness of personal responsibility and the willingness to take committed action to achieve desired result. Somebody said working independently. Somebody said strategy as one word only. Somebody else said doing things on my own, and so on and so forth. So wide variety of what self-directed leadership means to most people. In leadership speak, what we are emphasizing on being self-directed is that you become part of a team, a high-performing team, a world-class team. So if there's, for example, a championship soccer team, all right, choose just a favorite soccer team or your favorite hockey team, and is playing, in the World Series. And so how would this team players relate to each other, yet know the unique strengths within the team and what they bring to the team, and how they would communicate with each other when they're practicing? Would they all come together, or would they communicate with each other that I'm coming to this practice, or I'm not coming to this practice? All right. So those sort of things have to be understood beforehand, that everyone should be able to connect and collaborate effectively to make it a high-performing team, yet be self-directed. It means being able to ask for help and willing to give help and assist help so that you can become high-performing in Toastmasters setting. And that will give you the springboard to become a high-performing team and a world-class team. So that, in a way, in my opinion, is what self-directed means, or this is how we are trying to create the culture in our club. It is an advanced club. And as we all know, in a community club, a lot of time is wasted chasing people in what the goals are going to be, whether they're going to be speaking or not speaking, and a lot of energy is taken at that level. In an advanced club, that energy shouldn't be taken at that level. It should be more about what can we do to rise to the next level, having down packed that we all know what we are doing, that we are all part of a high-performing team, that we are all self-directed, and that we are all communicating with each other, and we are all connected and being very effective in that manner. So that energy is now released for something else, something higher, a bigger vision of yourself, for yourself, and going faster and exponentially achieving your goals. So that's the reason why we exist in leadership speak. it's all about leadership development. It's all about developing self-directed leaders. And that is our bottom line. Okay. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to our education session, and that is Ron Hesketh. And we have an evaluator for Ron Hesketh, I believe, and that is, if I may, it's just right behind me. Oh, leadership speaking education session is going to be for 10 to 12 minutes, even though it's from Pathways, which is normally 5 to 7 minutes. Ron is going to do a 10 to 12 minute speech, and the evaluator is Tony Breshett. Tony, what are the objectives for Ron to follow today?
Well, I'm going to self-direct my evaluation because I didn't receive the form, but that's never an excuse, right? Self-directed leadership. I am going to, having heard Ron speak and having heard Ron speak well many times, Ron is going to be talking about the different types of leadership styles, and probably he's going to be talking about what he prefers that works for him, how it works for him. Nope. And okay. Well, okay, then Ron's going to give us a story about leadership styles and how they work. Well, and everyone here will determine what Ron is trying to do with this. So Ron, take it away.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, for those evaluators who are wanting to know exactly what the purpose or objective of the speech is, it is on the agenda, right under the speaker's name.
Right. Sorry.
And he's speaking from persuasive influence, understanding your leadership style. And we're all learning. This is a brand new club. We are all learning to come and become cohesive as a team, a high-performing team. So we have hiccups, absolutely. We are all players from different parts of the world doing different things, and we are trying to create a common mind, which is culture. Culture is what is very, very important to a club's existence, and that's what we're trying to create here. And we will. This is our third or fourth week of existence only. Fourth week, I believe. Oh no, longer actually now. Time passes by very quickly. I think it's fourth week. Ladies and gentlemen, understanding Ron Hesketh, understanding different leadership styles, Ron Hesketh, all yours. 10 to 12 minutes.
Thank you, Ron. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It's my pleasure to be here with you today and share some of my thoughts about leadership styles and how they play a vital role in how we perform. We're all autonomous and we make up our own minds and our own decisions. And I would suggest we can be more autonomous by having all the choices in front of us and making strategic decisions. Today, I'm going to talk about a few leadership styles. Quite frankly, when I did an internet search, there was nearly 4 billion references to leadership and leadership styles. A very confusing landscape, I might suggest. How do you delineate the information from all these sources and have a working tool that helps you improve in life? It's not easy, but I think I might have gotten a little headway on this. I might have gotten just a little bit more focus for myself, and I'd like to share it definitely with you. You ready? There is going to be a questionnaire at the end of this, so be ready. You'll need to know the answers. Hopefully you will. First of all, I am really happy and overjoyed to announce that I am starting a new company, and you are all going to be part of it. This new company is called Incentives, Inc. It's fantastic. What this company does is it analyzes incentive programs, creates incentive programs, and monitors incentive programs that are offered by the largest companies, Visa, MasterCard, Air Miles, and frankly, hundreds of others. And guess what? I've picked my executive team from you guys, and they're on the screen. You'll each have a job. You'll both all make a lot of money and become more autonomous in the years to come. It'll be fantastic. And I've given you specific roles, which I will tell you about shortly. You're going to have to give up your normal life and dedicate it all to me, to leadership. I hope you're ready for that. So you can see the staff, you can see the crew. And here's how I came up with who are going to be the leaders. I looked at their leadership styles. I married those profiles with what I need and what I believe in are the top 4 out of maybe 50 leadership styles that I believe are the key to success. So your question might be, Ron, what are those leadership styles that you've taken and highlighted for us today? Well, here they are. I picked democratic leadership, transformative leadership, laissez-faire, sit back and relax, autocratic, and no leadership at all. Just let everybody do what the heck they want. Probably the last one is a no-go. But there may be somebody out there that wants to go that route. We're not going to do it. So let's look at the democratic leader. And Brent, you've got this position based on my knowledge of you and your style. The democratic leader lets a lot of input in, lets people actually sometimes virtually vote for the course of action. Gets all its input and then says, okay, executive team, which way do you want to go with this? Now, the democratic leader has the final word, the final seal of approval. However, it's based primarily on the input from his or her trusted leaders. And then Brahm is going to be our transformational leader. And I think this is probably my most poignant assignment, knowing Brahm, not a long time, but pretty well. Brahm is going to be the kind of transformative leader that he just demonstrated in our opening today. He's going to take me and you from where we are and make us better and help us improve. A self-improvement leader. What a cool idea. He's going to change the culture. This very club is evidence of that. So I like the democratic leader type. Then we have the laissez-faire. And you know, in my career, I've had many laissez-faire managers. They're usually managers that shouldn't be managers, in my experience, because there's no pressure. They just take it easy. They take it as it comes. And people can get away with a lot of stuff unless this method is used appropriately. And then we have the autocratic leader. And Tony, before I knew you were going to introduce me and evaluate me, I assessed you as the autocratic leader. Don't take offense. I'm just using you as an example. The autocratic leader is the one that really dictates everything. Does not necessarily seek input from his team or the public or the customers or anybody else, but is a primary decision maker. I sort of look at maybe Steve Bezos of Amazon as an autocratic leader. I've studied his personality, and pretty well what he says goes. He uses some of the other combinations as well to enrich his skills and get better results. Those are the 4 kinds. And the 5th category is non-leadership, which maybe you've come across a leader like this. Maybe you've been a leader like this. You weren't really ready in your career to be a responsible, autonomous leader. You just didn't have the education, you didn't have the experience, but you were promoted anyway. And who's going to turn down a promotion with more money? Nobody. But in the inner soul, you sort of said to yourself, wow, manager, I don't know that much. And I don't really like people that much. So a non-leader is probably the most dangerous of them all. Cannot make decisions, hesitates, just doesn't get anywhere. Have you ever had any one of these leaders? Just show a hand if you can associate with any one of them. Now a hand if you are one of them. We're all some kind of leader, right? Either not a leader or some kind of leader, or one of the other 50 different kinds of leaders that exist in this world. To me, the importance of this message is this: self-awareness. After this short seminar, which is a brief version of a 1-hour seminar I do, I want you to do a self-analysis. How much do I know? Am I ready to be a leader? What kind of leader do I need? Because then I'll go find that kind of leader to follow. And how do I get to where I want to be so people regard me as a leader in my field, the unquestioned expert in my field? That people will idolize me and say, yes, I'm going where Ron's going. That's what I want. That's what Incentive Inc. want, because there's a lot of competition in this field, a lot of it. So we got to be better than great. We got to be whatever's above greatness, whatever that is. Survival of the fittest, which is represented by the fitness of its leaders. Let's face it, they're the ones that get the momentum going. Interesting. Think back on your career, on some of the leaders you've had, and the type of leader you have sometimes been, and rejoice in how you've improved with knowledge, with experience, with guidance from fellow Toastmasters. That's a key element. Another question: can you as an individual have more than one leadership style? I'm suggesting you need to have more than one leadership style. In this company, beside our board of directors of esteemed Toastmasters, there's going to be about 100 employees at the beginning. And I can guarantee that they react differently to different kinds of leadership. Some people need an autocratic leader based on their personality, their experience, etc. They need to be told what to do. As you gain more experience, you become more independent as an employee. And at some point you say, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. So butt out, let me do my job. You need that. In my experience as a manager, I am not a category of a leader. I'm all of them. Because if I know my employees and I know my customers, I will fine-tune my leadership style to that group or that individual to meet their needs. And when they meet their needs, they meet my needs. Interesting to think of it in a bigger scale. So what does it all mean? In summary, I would say this: identify what leadership style you react to the best and associate yourself with those leaders. Know your staff really well and what their needs are as a leader. Know when to be tough, know when to be soft, know when to step back and be laissez-faire. It's the key. And then do it and be ready to adjust at any time. This separates average leader, good leader, and brilliance by being this self-aware of not only yourself, but of the needs of your employees. It's a great skill to have, and I encourage you to do it. Now, Brahma's going to put up a survey in just a few minutes, and all I want you to do is answer the survey. I'll share the results probably at the end of this presentation with you as to what your thoughts are. But I have one more thing to share with you. I have to set an example. I have a great deal on Visa, a great promotion. If you get a Visa card through me right now, I will give you 3 months free of interest. Wouldn't that be good? I have to do it as a leader. I have to set the example. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now, did you want that poll, Ron Hesketh? Shall I put up the poll? I can't hear you, Ron.
Yeah, why don't we put it up now? It'll only take about 15 seconds for people to fill it in.
So what's the instruction? If you can tell us what to do.
Yeah, you can just tick off what you think is your leadership style right now.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you.
And while people are filling that in, we will, of course, see the results. I will display them. But our next speaker, let's prepare for our next speaker. Our next speaker is going to be Peggy Unlock. And let's see if I can get that. Yep, Peggy Unlock. And her evaluator is going to be Scarlett Erica. She's evaluator for Peggy Unlock. So while we are waiting for Scarlett to get all ready and geared up to tell us what Peggy is going to talk about, we will ask Yuvalis Yorg, actually, because I missed her, about the timer and how the timing works. So Yuvalis, can you explain the timer's role?
I will be assisting the speakers to let them know when they comply with the minimum time. I will be providing cues for you to be aware of the time. Whenever you reach their minimum time, you will see this green background displayed. When you are 1 minute away for the time limit, you will see this yellow light on my back. And when you reach your maximum time, you will see this red light. That means that you need to complete your speech.
Thank you very much. So I will now display the results of what's happening. Ron, here are the results, and I will actually, what I will do is I will take a print of these results and we will send it to you, Ron. But as you can see, Ron, if you can speak to it very quickly, what this is and what was your intention?
Yeah, let me just bring it up here. My intention was really just to encourage people to think about it, what their style is, think about what style they want, what style they've experienced and appreciate, and become more self-aware. That's the idea. I'm not going to record this. I'm not going to call you one day and say, no ulterior motive, Brom.
No, oh, okay, all right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So that was our poll, and I've now closed that poll. Our next speaker is Peggy Unlock. Now, before we call on the evaluator, who is going to be, of course, Scarlett Erica, one of our evaluators today is as well missing, and I think, and I bet it is to do with the time change, and we did send out information about the time change, but maybe he didn't quite receive it or hasn't looked at the time change. So to replace Vinod, we will have Mr. GE. Who is replacing Vinod?
Sharon.
All right, thank you very much. So, Bud Brown, now you know who's going to evaluate you, okay? This always happens when times change, right? We move and the rest of the world isn't moving. But I said by 2023 in November, everything will change. We won't be changing time. So we will always be on savings time. Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but there you go. I will call on Scarlett Erica to give us the objectives
so
of
Peggy. Thank you, sir. Peggy is exercising her autonomy today by starting a whole new path, calling engaging humor. I've been waiting and wanting to hear somebody presenting or delivering speeches on engaging humor. So today, Peggy will deliver her icebreaker. And most of us, we know that the icebreaker is for Peggy to introduce herself to the audience, but also to learn the basic structure of a speech. So I'll be watching and listening, observing, and looking for the techniques or things that Peggy will do well, but also observe areas where I can recommend, for improvement, of course. So all the best, Peggy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And Peggy has said that self-directed means the ability to plan and achieve her goals. That is Peggy's take on self-directed leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, Peggy Onlock, getting to know me, Peggy Onlock.
Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I joined Toastmasters back in December of 1999. So that was in the last century. Oh, and you might get an idea of why I think it was in the last century as I go into this speech a little bit. I joined Toastmasters in 1999 because I felt I had to find my voice again. I had it, but I had lost it. And it was time for me to join an organization that would help me find it again. Now, cultural background is very important to absolutely every human being. And I'm just going to give you a quick snippet of mine. I'm Canadian. I was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada in 1956. So yes, I've been around for a little bit. I'm officially a senior. So my family background, a lot of it was Irish. There was some Scottish, Canadian, of course. I have grandparents who were born in Canada. And I also have grandparents from an Irish background and also a Romanian background. And that was very important to me growing up. Leadership was always very important to me. Even as a young child, the different styles of leadership and the leaders that had an impact on me had an absolutely tremendous impact on me for both good and bad reasons. In school, the leaders I had, some of my histories, they are the people who directed me as a young girl and helped me find what I was good at and what was important to me. Now, when I went into the world of employment, I worked for over 20 years in financial organization, and part of that was out in the branch world. Many of you think banking may be a very boring job. I can assure you it is not. When I worked out in the branches, I worked a lot in downtown Toronto. Some of the things I faced were at least one bomb threat, multiple holdups, people throwing stuff at me because we weren't doing what they wanted us to do with their money. And of course, it was a challenge at the time, and it had a huge impact on me later on in life. Now, I left the banks branches and I moved on to head office, where I did an operations and technology job, both from business analyst up to business consultant, and finally as a project manager. That was a very male-dominated world. And of course, some of the people I worked with were absolutely tremendous. And of course, leadership style came into play there. I had absolutely marvelous leaders, and I had some leaders who really needed to go back and learn a thing or two. But it, again, had a huge impact on me. I ended up working as project manager, and the last technology project I worked at the bank was electronic money transfer. So to those of you who send your money to pay Toastmasters electronically over the internet, there is a very good chance I had something to do with that particular project up to the integration within the financial systems, because most of, well, the 4 major banks in Canada were involved in it. And another one of the major banks took that technology on after it was perfected. I started working with the Ontario Provincial Police back in about 2005. I had left the bank and taken 2 years off to deal with some health issues. And when I moved up to the city of Aurelia, I worked in community service and got to know my community a lot better. And then I moved on to the Chief Firearms Office, where we, to this day, try and keep the guns out of the hands of people who should not have them. So I'm sure most of you would get the impression that both of my careers have been fairly stressful. One of the things I did was I retired December 31st and I moved back to my hometown of Toronto. And the reason I did this is my lifelong career ambition was to become an author. And I've done that. I have been writing for about the last 15 years now, and I am well on the way to finishing my own memoirs. And it's based on post-traumatic stress disorder, which I found I had, I guess, the misfortune of getting back in 1997 and probably sooner, but people didn't know a lot about it then. Since then, I have learned a lot. I've written a lot. I'm not going to go into a lot in this speech, both for time and it's a different speech. But one of the things that is my absolute passion and where self-directed leadership really comes into play is taking something unknown and working on it to understand it better and helping the people who haven't had the chance to gain an understanding of it yet. In my career in policing, post-traumatic stress disorder is a real issue where people lose their lives because they have contracted it. So my goal now is to help raise awareness, gain a better understanding of that, and help people recognize that they have the ability to recover and that they're a real survivor and have an enormous strength that can help them help themselves and others in a very self-directed way and to lead our way forward as we go through those mental health challenges together. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember what is the word of the day? Anyone? Shout out, anyone?
Autonomous.
Yay! And why that? Why do we have word of the day? So that we can use it spontaneously while we are speaking to use the word of the day. Mr. Grammarian, I've helped you. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, what does self-directed also mean to me? I think it means having the discipline, dedication, and the determination to be part of a high-performing team, to be high-performing player yourself, is being self-directed. Self-directed doesn't mean that you just do what you want to do. It is a team is involved as well. So you have your own uniqueness as well as the team's strengths and how they merge and dovetail together. It's very, very important. So how disciplined you are, dedicated and determined to be part of a team, at the same time hone into your own uniqueness. And we know from Ron Heskett's speech the different types of leadership styles that we have, and self-awareness brings that into place to what am I and who am I and why am I doing what I'm doing. That's all about self-awareness. Having said that, our next speaker is Bud Brown, and Bud Brown's evaluator is Sharon Jenkins. Sharon, what are the criteria for Bud Brown's speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster Brown. The purpose of Bud's speech is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization, as well as for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience serving as a leader in a volunteer organization. Timing is 5 to 7. Toastmaster Brown.
Thank you very much. We're going to hear Bud Brown very soon. Bud Brown, the conductor, Bud Brown.
Fellow Toastmasters, the orchestra members arrive at their place, pick up their instruments and begin to warm up. The audience hears odd notes, trills, runs of notes, and then quiet. The first violinist plays one note, an A, and all the other players begin and play the same note. He repeats that. All is prepared. At this point, the great conductor walks to the front of the stage, bows to the audience, receives thunderous applause. He turns and bows to the orchestra. He looks at his lectern to make sure all is in order, and then he raises his baton. Everyone in the orchestra has their eyes focused on that baton, and so the symphony begins. And all through the symphony, all the conductor seems to do is wave this stick around, and beautiful music seemingly spills out of it. Simple. But there's a lot more going on than the casual eye discerns. In some ways, like the conductor of the orchestra, the president of a Toastmaster club has the main job of waving the baton. That president's job flows very nicely from the concept of the conductor. Oh, sure, the president needs to preside at meetings and chair business meetings and represent the club at area councils and district business meetings and so forth. But the main job is to wave the baton. Simple? Yes, it is simple, but not easy. Like the great conductor, there's a lot going on which the casual observer doesn't see. Now, before a competent conductor steps up to the podium, that personage should know every note that every player in the orchestra must play and how that note should sound. Ideally, before one aspires to the role of the president of a Toastmasters club, they ought to have served in every other role of the club's executive. But if they have not, they should at least have studied the information available to what each role entails. Now, Toastmasters is a bit strange in that regard. Most people stay in one executive role for at least 6 months, but often a year. And then they move on to another role. It's as if Ralph Smedley, when he was setting this whole process up, had ADHD, an attention deficit hyperactive disorder, in which he thought running the club should be handled by frantically moving members from one role to another. The result that we have is a continuous trail of complete novices serving on our club executives. It would be a recipe for disaster, except that Toastmasters International provides a wealth of information in publications like the Club Leadership Handbook on how to perform each of the roles on the executive. And then each district provides training for those positions. That's why it's so important for all officers in a club to read the handbook and take club officer training. The first time I served as president of my own club, the only executive position I'd ever held before that was to be responsible for membership. I'd watched other people in the role of president, and it didn't seem like a big deal. Hey, you hold a meeting with your executive every couple of months, you vote at district conferences a couple of times a year, and that's about it, right? I took the president's manual. In those days, you got your own manual for each and every role. And I glanced through it, and it seemed like I was expected to do everything in the club's business. Almost every aspect of every other role was described, and there was a lot of stuff about getting my club to distinguished status, whatever that was. At a club officer training, the president's training was run that year by the district governor, John McDonald. And he asked, has anyone read the president's manual? I commented, John, yeah. And it seems like we're expected to do everything in the club, though, with all the detail of what all the roles entail. John looked back at me and he smiled and said, Bud, you're not expected to do everything. What you are expected to do is know everything that your people are supposed to be doing. And if they are doing it, to encourage them. And even if they're not doing it, you're not supposed to pick it up and do it yourself. You're supposed to persuade them to do what they need to do for the club's benefit. I get it, I exclaimed. For the next 6 months, I was on a pendulum swing between watching what my people watching my people do whatever they wanted to do, and micromanaging, which annoyed them so much they did nothing. It was at the second club officer training that year that someone clued me into the idea of mentoring my team into understanding that just about every action in their manuals recommended was about helping the members to achieve their goals. I was very fortunate to have a treasurer who was good at getting people to pay their dues on time, and a VP of education who was very organized at setting up meetings with 2 to 3 speeches in each. As a result, we had a charter strength club that had a lot of educational awards, and we became President's Distinguished. But it wasn't because I did a good job. It was because they did a good job, in spite of my approach. I learned a valuable lesson that year. The president's main job in a Toastmasters club is to learn how to delegate and how to mentor. Know what your teams are supposed to be doing and watch if they're doing it. And if not, guide them into doing those tasks that will make your club successful. If you do that, you'll be like the orchestra conductor who knows each of the instruments and guides them in playing a flawless symphony. A good president also knows how to wave the baton. Go and do likewise.
Thank you. Being autonomous, doing everything by yourself, or working as a team, making sure the team is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Self-directed. That means as a president, you will have to ensure that every person on the team is self-directed. Thank you, Bud, for that wonderful speech about what Toastmasters and leadership is all about. Our next speaker is going to be Wesley Hillstrom. And Wesley's evaluator is Nikita. Now, I believe that Nikita, you spoke to Wesley a while back about the objectives. However, we've assigned him a storytelling objective for the speech, and it's all on the agenda. And so if you can tell us what those objectives are.
All right, I hope I'm going to get this right with the changes you just mentioned. I'll go ahead and introduce my excitement to be here today as a listener. So normally I'm here doing other tasks, but today I'm sitting and I'm listening, and it's a wonderful experience. In this, what I would call autonomous speech, because to my awareness, it is not a pathway speech. It has been. It is a speech that Wesley is delivering for the second time. So the speech has already been delivered. It is titled The Mystery of Irinisi. I hope I got that right. I really enjoyed the pronunciation on his title. So Wes has already delivered this pathway speech. It is fun, fictitious storytelling. He's working specifically on his developing of the story, his speaking and writing skills. So as we heard that the purpose has been assigned, that the purpose is for storytelling, I didn't see that. What I have here is to tell an entertaining tall tale as if it were a factual narration. I'm very excited. Back to you.
Thank you very much. What you may not know about Wesley is that he's also the Club Growth Director in District 77. And in a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to be speaking at a club in District 77, Vocalizers Toastmasters, where I've been invited to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Wesley Hillstrom, The Mystery of Irinisi. Irinisi, Wesley Hillstrom, and I hope I pronounced it right, Wesley, and I'm sure you will tell us. Thank you. All yours.
When you were young, you may have read The Mystery of Irinisi. That's a story about two Norwegian explorers who traveled by balloon to the Greek island of Irinisi and the adventures they encountered. This was back in the 1870s. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I have reason to believe that there is more fact to that story than fiction. You may recall that in the mystery of reading you see, the two explorers, when they got to the island, after doing some exploration, they came to this large cavern. Deep within that cavern, they found this assortment of scrolls. They spent several days gathering those scrolls and staging them into a protected area near the balloon for their eventual takeoff back to Norway. During this whole time, there were tremors in the island. The adventure on the island culminated with them leaving during a large earthquake, tremendous earthquake. The main character was in the balloon preparing for the launch. His assistant gathered the scrolls, gave it to the main character. Then he boarded the gondola and launched the anchor. And as the balloon rose, the scrolls that the main character had in his arm lurched and they all fell below. Desperately, the main character grabbed for one of the scrolls, but it was ripped from his hand to the swirling dust below. What was in those scrolls? Hence, the mystery of reading the sea. Many years ago, I was touring the town of Tromsø, Norway, and I came across the Norwegian Museum of Exploration and Antiquity. That museum was actually the family home of Professor Erik Steinare, the author of The Mystery of Reading the Sea. Apart from being an author, before he became an author, he was actually a well-known explorer and inventor. In the room that was once a study, in a glass case, there is a sketch of a balloon, elongated balloon attached lengthways to a boom from the sides of protruding cell-like structures. In the gondola, there was a chamber surrounded by solar mirrors, which theoretically heated a substance within the balloon and caused the air to expand and the balloon to rise. Very autonomous setup. Now that sketch exactly described the illustration of the balloon in the book, The Mystery of Reading the Sea. In addition to that, on a wall, very conspicuously placed, was a photograph. Well, actually, it was a picture frame. In that picture frame was a piece of fabric-like material. I looked at it. It contained Greek lettering. It appeared to be Greek lettering. I took a picture of that. And here it is. Now, the question I have is, do you remember when the main character grabbed for the scroll and it was ripped from his hand? What was contained in his hand? Could this actually be what was in that main character's hand? Could this be the only shred of evidence of one of those scrolls? Only Professor Steinare could tell us for sure. But if that's true, if that is true, that would give new meaning to the mystery of reading the sea. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Wesley. Very entertaining and intriguing and mystery for sure. So, how did we know about the scrolls, and is that a true story? Well, we all know it was a tall tale, as Wesley had alluded to. So thank you very much. You are a great storyteller, Wesley, and I really appreciate that story. Wonderfully done. Now we'll turn to our timer to tell us the timings of the speeches. You, Alice?
Yes. Peggy had 6 minutes, 39 seconds, but used 7 minutes and 1 second, and Wesley used 4 minutes, 54 seconds. Do we have a grace period in this clock?
No. I'll just put up the poll for the first time. I think we're going to vote for the speaker, and the poll is launched. And if you can please vote for the best speaker, I'll leave the poll up for about a minute. And while you're voting for the best speaker, we are coming to a break. We are running a little off time. So we will still have a break for 5 minutes. And if the guests want to talk to me or to Dinesh, who's the Vice President of Membership, we are available. But take a break for 5 minutes. So it is now in my clock, 10:29, or whatever your clock is, wherever you are in the world. 5 minutes from now, we will begin. I will ask the Sergeant at Arms to reconvene in 5 minutes. Thank you. And please do continue voting for the best speaker. The break is on. Hello, Vinod. How are
Hi,
you?
Prem. Good.
Sorry,
Good.
we changed the clocks, and we did put the sign in the chat. I mean the information.
That's
Chat,
why
you didn't probably get that, so you probably came 1 hour
Yes.
late, yeah, because of the time change.
Oh, okay. So the meeting started almost an hour before, huh?
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, then I missed that actually. I thought it Dubai time 6:30 it starts.
I know.
And
I did think that you probably missed the notice that we put up in the chat in WhatsApp, but that's okay.
Yes.
That always happens when we change time, and there's always confusion, and things do happen. So
No worries. I'll
from now
enjoy.
until November, it'll be this new time. We forwarded our clock an hour, and we always stick to what the Ontario time is, 9:30 start time. So it across the globe it changes, unfortunately.
Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Not a problem, it is expected that sometimes these things do happen, but thank you for being here and coming over.
Yes, thank you. Looking forward.
Thanks. All right. So Wesley, how did you get the idea for that speech?
Actually, there is some truth to the speech.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did visit Tromsø, Norway. My background was in geology and geophysics, and I was a member of the Naval Oceanographic Office, and our ship was in Tromsø, Norway. And while I was in Tromsø, I did run across a gentleman by the name of Stein Are, and he was a paragliding instructor. So I went on a tandem paraglide with this gentleman, and it was a very thrilling experience. And I'm a skydiver, so he was so impressed with my enjoyment of the skydive. He did not charge me anything. This is a true story. He did not charge me anything for the skydive. It was only a 75 or the equivalent of a $75 or $80 trip. We went out and had pizza with some of his paragliding buddies. So there's some truth to it, but not really. I have been to the Aegean Sea.
Thank you.
And was I not in time? There's it's from 4 minutes to 30 seconds to 7 minutes 30 seconds.
Sorry, Wesley, I missed that.
What was I not in time for the speech? The speech is actually from 4 minutes 30 seconds to 7 minutes 30 seconds.
Yes. If it was a 5 to 7 minutes, it's from 4:30 to 7:30 is where you
Okay,
have to
just
be.
clarification. Thank you.
Yes, of course. How are you, Scarlett? How's things going?
I'm enjoying the conversations. I just want to give a shout out to my girl, Raboni. I invited Raboni and she came. I'm so happy to
Oh,
see
all
her
right.
on the group.
And our friend
Raboni
Linda is here.
from Botswana.
Woohoo.
I have a guest here as well, and that's Kent. I met Kent last week. He's been to actually 2 different clubs, and Kent is from Alabama.
Wow. Hello, Kent. Welcome.
Hey,
Good to have you in our meeting.
thank you.
And we also have Luz Sanchez. Hello.
Hello,
Is
thank
that
you.
how you pronounce it, Luz?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so appreciative to be here.
Thank you for coming. Where are you located, Luz?
I am in the Valley in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got up very early in the morning to attend this meeting.
Yes, I did.
By the way, Kent, you should just share your little story about the border town where the border goes down the middle of the street and the time zone.
On
Remember you telling me about that town that the border between the 2 states is right between in the middle of the street?
oh,
The
that's,
state line passes through it? Oh, wow.
it's in Bristol, Tennessee. Yeah, it's 2 different states and the same city, but 2 different states. And they have it's known for a NASCAR race there. So I've never been to that particular track, but I've been by it and it's fairly small. But yeah, you know what? Actually, it's the state. I was talking about a city in Alabama. And yeah, it's Alabama and Georgia, and it goes right in between the 2 states. And technically, Georgia is on Eastern time and Alabama is on Central time. However, so it's not so confusing. The people who live in Phoenix City go on Eastern time because Columbus, which is the sister city, is on Eastern. So
Thank you, Kent.
Thank you very much for
It's
all the
time. Go
information.
ahead.
As a surgeon at times, I have to stop the conversation and call our Toastmaster back stage. Please welcome Bram Mamon back to our second part of our meeting.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And because we are an advanced club, ladies and gentlemen, I will share the results with you directly here on the screen. And you can see who had the best effort as a speaker today. But Brown, thank you very much. Congratulations to you. And that's that. And I will now close. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we move on to table topics. And I will not explain what table topics is all about. You have to be autonomous or not. We'll find out what that is all about. But our table topic master, who's been a Toastmaster for almost 10 years, and he will tell us himself what he thinks about self-directed leadership and go into the table topics. Dinesh Sharma, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmasters. So self-directed leadership, what a good theme today that we have for it. And for the table topics, as all of you know, the table topic says, I'm going to invite one member and give them a question or a statement and ask them to explain it. So the timing is 1 minute for green, 1.5 minutes for yellow, and 2 minutes for red. What I'm going to be doing is the members, those who have some roles today, I'm not going to ask them to for the table topics. So if you don't have a role today, then obviously I'm going to be asking you. So my first person that I'm going to ask the question is our club president, Brent Patterson. Brent, can you unmute yourself, please?
Go for it.
Perfect. So my question to you is, what are the 5 core qualities of self-directed leadership?
What are the 5 core qualities of self-directed leadership?
Yes.
Well, I guess I could have cheated and took a screenshot from Brahm's poll earlier, but I did not do that. So I'm going to have to come up with that a little bit on the spot. But when I think about the 5 core qualities of self-directed leadership, I think it does start with a level of self-awareness, that you are aware of what you want to accomplish. You have that awareness of what you're capable of, but more importantly, you have an awareness of what goal it is that you're aspiring to. The next core competency of self-directed leadership is a basic willingness. You have to be willing to take action and take that next step towards that goal. If you don't have that willingness to take action, you're not going to be able to do anything to achieve that goal. So it starts with the awareness, and then the willingness, and then, of course, the actual ability to take that action. And when I think about self-directed leadership, taking into that awareness is also knowing how to delegate appropriately, or at the very least call for assistance from those individuals to help you with the qualities that you need in order to achieve that desired result of that goal. So you have the self-awareness, your willingness to do something, then the action, the ability to take the action and call upon others and reach out and get assistance from those individuals to help you overcome whatever challenges that you're not able to do something about. After that, when I think about in addition to getting assistance, it's also about taking on the ownership of learning those additional skills that are necessary towards helping you accomplish your desired result, and that ability to strive to learn and move forward. And then lastly, a sincere desire to innovate change within yourself, and be willing to take the information that you get from the individuals, whoever it is that you've asked for assistance or that you've delegated to, the self-learning that you've learned from trying to learn and develop new skills, and then apply that in a way to change for the better, to advance towards, again, achieving those desired results. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you so much. My next person is Vinod Panicker. Vinod, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yep. Perfect. Vinod, the question for you is, why is self-directed leadership essential to success?
Okay. Thank you very much, Table Topic Master. Now, human beings are the only species which have got the most time to get nurtured by parents, right? And especially in Asia, we say that not only till 0 to 18 years, sometimes parents take care of kids till 60 years also. So as humans, most majority of the time when we are under parental guidance, we are taken care by others. So when we become adults and when we get into workforce, we expect the same from others. And that is the time we get the first strike and we say, welcome to the real world. That is why self-directed leadership is the most important thing, and that should be cultivated not while you are adult. It should be cultivated right when you are a child. And for me, I do it with my kids. What I do not treat them as a small kid. I treat them as a small adult. I respect their decisions, I respect their wants, and I do whatever is possible to encourage them to make their own decision, even if it is wrong. Why? Because if they make a decision and if it is wrong, and I make sure that my wife does not shout on my kids, that is how you develop self-directed leadership, or you try to make decision. You take any graduate school in the world, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, what do they teach you? To make decision. The output of all the hard work is to make decision. We can teach our kids, we can teach ourselves to make decisions right now. Why to wait to go to any graduate schools? So self-directed leadership starts by making individual decision. And as our previous speaker spoke about self-awareness, willingness, desire to take action, and ability to learn from that, if we start doing that, we are on the right path, and we can start a 12th path in Toastmasters pathway and call it a self-directed leadership, and give that credit to Toastmaster Braham for that. Thank you very much. And over to you, Dinesh.
Thanks, Vinod. Thank you. My next person is Nazim Mohammed. Nazim, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Perfect. Nazim, my question to you is, how is self-care related to self-leadership?
How is self-care related to self-leadership?
Yes, please.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Self-care could be related to narcissism. The typical word for loving yourself is narcissism. And if we believe it in a negative way, it will always become a reality. But if you believe it in a positive way, it will also become a reality. So you better be careful of how you think, how you control your thoughts, and how you utilize your thoughts. As a kid growing up, we learn from our parents, grandparents, teachers, mentors, coaches. But it is for us to separate that learning as we grow up. Some of us don't even get to be grown-ups. We behave like we are kids. But the fact is, we are all conditioned. Like Pavlov, when he conditioned the dog, when he rang that bell, the dog was conditioned to respond. So we can respond to leadership in a very positive way by initiating and taking responsibility for everything that we do 100% of the time. And that leadership can be conditioned from a kid, a juvenile, and transform into an adult. So we must be first aware. Awareness precedes action. And without the action, we cannot become who we truly and sincerely want to become as leaders, professionals, examples. We are a conditioned society, and we are better served when you take the example of leadership like from Brahm and the leaders above. Thank you.
Thank you, Nazim. Thank you so much. My next person is Georgina. Georgina, can you unmute yourself, please?
Thank you. I would rather not participate today.
Okay, I respect that. And
thank you.
My next one is Mary Lou. Mary Lou, can you unmute yourself, please?
I'm here, Dinesh.
Perfect. Yes. So the question for you is, how can you help others become competent self-directed leaders?
Mr. Table Topics Masters and fellow Toastmasters, you can help others become self-directed leaders by demonstrating those skills yourself. The biggest way that anyone can show or educate anyone is to walk the talk, as they say. If you have the skills and show others the way, then that's, that speaks for itself. There is nothing that is more disheartening for anyone than to see someone saying, you should do this, but they don't. And that is, in my mind, as another speaker just said, Vinod said, you teach your children from they're very small to do what you do. So if you are a parent, don't demonstrate the correct behaviors, then guess what? Your kids won't. It's the same way within organizations. If the leader does not demonstrate the correct behaviors, then the organization will not demonstrate the correct behaviors. And as they always say, if there's a problem, the head is where the smell is. So if you want to have the proper behaviors, you as a leader demonstrate that yourself. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you. The next one is Jayapriya. Jayapriya, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay. How can a leader cultivate the pillars of self-directed leadership?
How can a leader
cultivate the pillars of self-leadership?
I go with an example of leadership speak. A leader is always a person who demonstrates what needs to be done, rather than telling people. When the executive committee members demonstrated last week in the charter meeting, along with the sponsor and the mentor of the club, that is how I see leadership speak is the best example of self-motivated and self-directed leadership. We don't tell people what they need to do. They say that I don't teach people how they need to do fishing. Rather than that, I demonstrate them how you need to do that, how you can be productive, how you can be efficient, how you can be effective, how you can be a role model. Through every role and the way they all represent themselves as a speaker, as a role players, week after week, that shows the way a leader can be self-directed and self-motivated. And even for a role of a TMOD, today, Brahm had all the polls set up and the surveys taken. And in this way, he is using this opportunity as a tool for the members to understand what they need to do. And that is my takeaway from this themed meeting. Over to you, the table topic master.
Thank you, Jayapriya. Thank you so much. Mr. Toastmaster, do I have enough time to go for more?
Yes, go ahead. One more.
Perfect, perfect. My next one is Luz. Luz, would you like to take the next one?
Sure.
Perfect. So, question for you is, what are the 4 pillars of self-leadership?
The four pillars of self-leadership. Well, for me, it's a character, right? Core values because when we have our core values clear, then from there we direct everything. The 4 pillars. I'm still thinking. obviously we have to ask questions. We have to know first and learn in order to teach after, right? And be an example, like many of the table topic people right now spoke about it. Okay, so I'm gonna be thinking about the 4 pillars because I guess it wasn't really clear to me. I didn't know I was gonna have a test here. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Luz. This is again kind of a taking self-directed leadership, and it says, will you do it? Sure, I will. Okay. Toastmaster, can I go ahead for more?
No, we are done.
How many more?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody, those who participated in the table topics. To all the other members, can you send a private message to me to say which table topics you
No, we will have a
for the
poll. And I'm going to launch a
okay.
poll there for you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks,
That's all right.
Graham. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, we have
over
a
to you.
poll today, a proper poll. Can you imagine? We're getting better there, Dinesh.
Yeah, so that's it. That's where learning
The poll is now launched. Please go ahead and vote. And while people are voting for the best table topics, we will go on to our next thing. And our next thing is, of course, the timer's report. So, Madam Timer, can you please give us a report for the table topics?
Brent used 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Vinod used 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Nassim used 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Marilu used 1 minute, 40 seconds. Haja Priya, I'm sorry if I didn't say it right, 1 minute, 32 seconds. And Luz used 59 seconds.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I will now end the poll. Thank you very much for voting in it. And I will now share the results, and they are right there on your screen. This is what the poll shows. We are in advanced club, so we don't mind sharing what the poll is. All right, and let me just take a screenshot for our records for our secretary. Okay, there we go. Our poll is done. Thank you very much all for indulging in the poll. Our next section is going to be what we've always been waiting for. Now, I will ask the guests that after the evaluation, I'm going to put up another quiz for everyone, and especially the guests, about self-directed leadership that would be in a format of a poll. And if you can answer that for me after the evaluations are done. For now, I will now turn this on to Brent Pattison, the president of the club, and I'll let him tell us all about what he thinks of self-directed leadership, and of course conduct the session as well. General Evaluator, Brent.
Thank you very much, Bram. I'm not going to go too much further into depth with respect to self-directed leadership because I just had the opportunity to do that during table topics. On that note, when I think about leadership development, and this is specifically a club focused on leadership development and developing self-directed leadership skills, at the end of the day, what really makes us effective is evaluations, and providing an evaluation of the meeting and of the speakers that we had is really truly core to the development of that self-directed leadership, by taking the experience of speaking but having them evaluated is really how we can learn from our experience. Experience by delivering the speeches is, when I think about what we were able to do here in Toastmasters, is the best teacher, but it's evaluated experience. It's having those speeches evaluated that ultimately helps us become better self-directed leaders. So on that note, I'm going to start by introducing our first evaluator of the day, who is going to be evaluating Ron's speech, Tony Bradish. Tony?
Thank you, GE, fellow Toastmasters. and especially Ron Hesketh. Ron, your title was superb. Understanding different leadership styles, perfect title. And from that point on, you put together a condensed presentation, within, I think, 12 minutes, which you usually do in an hour. Overview and like an external view, internal view. External view, masterful, well-crafted, and topical. So really well done. Internally, I will address the message, the relevance to us, and the delivery style. Now, the message, of course, was how does leadership styles apply to us as individuals? The relevance is there, obviously, because we're here about self-directed leadership. And your delivery, Ron, is at the highest, a very high level, very vocal, paced very well, and structured, where it flows nicely from one transition to the other. Now, my feedback to you is purely personal, just me alone. To me, the message, it was a nugget. Get momentum going. Leader gets momentum going. That's my takeaway. And I loved at the end, Ron, how then you use that Visa card example and you said, set the example. So get momentum going and set the example. What's my takeaway? That's worth my attendance. An idea I have, you used 3 leadership examples from within the club, and it was kind of nice. I would have probably presented, I would have wanted to have heard a story, something that happened in the world that we all can recognize. Maybe a story of a corporate leader or a political leader who did something. And then you ask us the questions, what style is this? Which of the 5 styles? And that's something we could all identify to, because who knows if Ron is who knows if Brent is a democratic leader, and who cares if Tony is an autocratic leader. Therefore, Ron, thank you very much for a well-presented, well-crafted. You put a lot of work into this for our benefit. And I like the idea about getting the momentum going by setting the example. Thank you for that. Thank you, GE.
Thank you very much, Tony. Next up, I'd like to invite Scarlett, who's going to be providing an evaluation of Peggy's speech. Scarlett?
I have to see the Madam Timer because I tend to go over my time always. So I'm just going to first check where's my timer. Yes, I see you. So I'm going to speak to the timer. Okay. The best part of an icebreaker is that I know I will learn or get to know the speaker a little bit better. And did you feel like I did today? I felt like I want to go visit Peggy and have more conversation with her. So I want to say a big appreciation. I want to say thank you, Peggy, for sharing a very personal part of your life. I also felt that your tone was very conversational, and I had the impression that you carefully selected and thought about what is it that you want to share with the audience today, because we know your career path has been extremely interesting. If you mentioned so many fantastic professions that you have been involved in. So I wanted to hear a lot. I wanted to hear a bit more of some of it, but I accepted that our time together today is not enough for you to share in detail those experiences. With regard to the clarity, I wanted to say, did you observe that today Peggy's frame and her clarity was magnificent? Because Peggy, we have to admit, at previous occasions, we've been getting to know each other for a while now, less than 2 months. Sometimes the frame of your online technical frame was not so clear, or the way you positioned yourself. But today, I have to say thank you for the effort, for making sure that your frame is very well positioned. We could hear the clarity of your voice, and also I could see while you were engaging, it was very, I felt we had a dialogue, and that is what I appreciate today. What I would like to recommend, or my observations with your introduction, your start, was the pauses was too long, because I know you had probably in your mind, there's a certain way you want to start. But remember, when eyes are looking at you and you have to start with your prepared speech, there's that flip side of when do I start? How long do I pause? And for today, it was a little bit too long, I think, and that also created a little bit of discomfort for you as a speaker. What I want to recommend is, especially with an introduction and start, do it powerfully. Find a quote or something interesting that can captivate the minds or the attention of the audience. I know we want to do things proper and interesting, and in your view, probably the best way you want to present it. But next time, carefully, perhaps just think about how you want to start. But the moment you started, we got involved with the conversation. I want to say thank you for mentioning that you lost your voice, because I observed that you had difficulty or expressing or utilizing your vocal cords. So thank you for mentioning that, and it places the audience at ease, so that we know that you had a little bit of trauma, and it's also connected to a lot of the content that you mentioned. With regard to eye contact, I wanted to say when you have glasses on, there's a certain way of the light there's a glaring, so I could not feel or see that you're looking at me, of course, through the webcam. So the glass is little bit, but I mean, otherwise, if you take it off, you won't be able to see anyway. So I guess what I want to say here is just to make sure that when you look into the webcam, that there's more connection, or yeah, I'm sure there's a way we can do that. And then I just wanted to sort of conclude with engaging humor. I guess when you do your icebreaker, it's about you. But I had a certain expectation as you're going to be funny telling us about yourself. I guess that is my perspective on engaging humor. So I'll be listening and waiting for more humor on your part. But overall, I say thank you for introducing yourself to us. And I know you're going to, your comfort level, the more speeches you will deliver to this specific team, your comfort level will definitely increase and more confidence will come to the fore. I think I like you as a friend, so great to get to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. Next up, Sharon Jenkins is going to provide an evaluation of Bud's speech. Sharon? Sorry, Sharon, you're still on mute.
Okay, we can
You
start
get
over.
to, you get to try it again.
Yeah. Mr. GE, fellow Toastmasters guests, and especially you, Bud. Leading in your volunteer organization. I'm going to evaluate you today based on what you excelled at, what you may want to work at, and what you could challenge yourself with. Bud, you're an amazing storyteller. You drew us all in. You kept us enthralled with your speech. You had the music, the piano in the background. You had your baton, and then you very seamlessly changed from a baton to a gavel. That was extremely effective. Love that. The transitions, they were all excellent. What I would suggest is when you're talking about Toastmasters, lower the music a little more, because it was really effective at the beginning and then it stayed throughout. I would have probably lowered it or deleted it when you're talking about Toastmasters. And at the end, when you brought the conductor back, bring the music in again. With the baton, not to have it in your hand all the time. You had it, put it down for a bit, tease us, where's that baton gone? Then put it up again. So that's how I would do that part. You did a super job. What I would suggest you work on is just releasing the baton that, and also talking more about what you learned from this leadership role. You talked about micromanaging in one part, that's what you were doing, but you didn't explain, did you overcome it? How did you overcome it? Now, I just finished in Engaging Humor, the same manual, the high performance leadership one. The one thing I challenge you is you never mentioned anything about the 360 surveys, and those are critical to see how people in your group evaluated you, how they saw you as a leader. I also did the 360 evaluation myself, and it's really interesting to see what maybe you have missed or that you have rated yourself too harshly, but it's vital to have in here. I did the same kind of speech as you did, and my guidance committee told me to redo it and include this in it, because that's where we learn from, and other people can learn more about leadership by the trials and errors and the successes we do as leaders. So I would suggest with this one, try doing it again, but look more inward and really share with us what were your successes? Where did you not succeed like you thought you would? What were the surprises? But let us know. You had a succession plan to have for future members of the team. How did you design like what did you look at? Where were some of the criteria? I'd like to see that in there. Now, in summary, you are a fantastic storyteller. I'd love to see you do the Polar Express to adults and children because you have the voice. It's fantastic. For this one, just to include a little bit more about your personal experience in this project. Thanks, Bud. I look forward to your next speech. Mr. GE.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And for our last evaluation for the day, Nikita is going to be providing an evaluation of Wesley's speech. Nikita?
Did you know that Wesley is a ballroom dancer? Well, it's quite evident in his comfort level with his body language as he owns the stage. I really enjoyed how he captured me with his physical appearance and ownership. Wesley, the structure of your story and its development was well done. Wesley has goals of becoming a nonfiction author. And that's why the focus for his speech was on storytelling. I think he did a great job developing the story, especially when he started, because we didn't know what Irinenisi, if we're saying it right or wrong, we didn't know what is this, who, where, and right from the beginning, we were told it's a place. I love how your body painted the picture for us. You were using great gestures to show us the picture. You also excelled at your pauses. especially when you were forgetting your words. You didn't say, but, so, no. You paused and you had great pace. I would like to recommend that you work on losing yourself in the story. How? Perhaps in the details, because the story has detail. I would recommend more details. Tell me your story like I'm a child, because I love to read and be told stories like I'm a child. I want to have fun. So in that sense, lose yourself in the story. I also recommend that you work on, but also challenge yourself to use digital skills. You showed us an image and I could hardly see the image. I would recommend that you challenge yourself to learn how to use digital, to gain more digital skills so that you can present your story with images, because the images do enhance storytelling. They create an environment for us, although most of the times we created ourselves in our minds. But in this case, you were showing us an image and I wanted to see what it was and I couldn't clearly see it. So with that, I would like to say, well done, well done. You have the qualities of becoming a non-fictional author. And I would like to remind you, to encourage you to have fun. Because when you have fun, we have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Well done. All right. On that note, we will run a quick poll here to vote for Best Evaluator. Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, I think you have control of the poll, sir.
Sure, I can do that for you.
Thank you. And while we have the poll running, if I can call upon our timer to provide the timings for our evaluators today.
Sure. Tony had 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Scarlett used 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Sharon used 3 minutes, 22 seconds, and Nikita used 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
If I may also say, on the poll where it says Vinod Panicker, it is Sharon Jenkins.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, we'll just give another couple of moments for the poll. If you haven't voted already, please do so. Again, noting that Vinod is actually Sharon.
There's quite a bit of background noise.
I think we found it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, if we can end the poll. And next, I would like to, and thank you for sharing the poll results. So even though Sharon's name is not on here, we can see that she was voted as Best Evaluator for the day. Congratulations, Sharon. Next up, I'd like to call upon our grammarian to provide your report for our meeting today. Prasanna?
Yes. Brent, thank you for inviting. Let me read the grammarian report. First, start with the word of the day used by following people. Of course, Bram, highest scores, more than 3. Ron Hesketh, 3. And Wes Hillstrom, 1 number. That's it. Regarding good usages, people use most of the good usages I've noted down. Energy state, self-awareness, survival of the fittest, rejoice, raise awareness, trauma, discipline, dedicated, determined, symphony, continuous, trail, micromanage, self-awareness, delegate, reality, juvenile, walk the talk, role model, character, momentum, magnificent, enthralled, and story as details, like telling a story to the child. So these are the good usages as found. O2G. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grammarian. Now for my general evaluation for today's meeting. First off, a few general points that I want to call out. We obviously did a great job of starting on time, and I thought that our Sergeant at Arms did a really good job throughout the entire meeting, keeping us both on time, as well as by specifically doing a great job of spotlighting our timer at the most appropriate call outs so that the speakers could easily see the timer. It really was effectively done and helped keep our meeting on pace. The one thing that was a challenge today is something that was somewhat out of our control, and that is a time zone change. And what we did notify all of the members of the club through a WhatsApp chat that there is a time zone change here in North America, but we probably should have included a notification of that in the email that went out to people who had registered for the meeting in Zoom. I would also recommend that for our club that we also have a second email reminder with the meeting details, including the Zoom link, go out the morning of the meeting. I know we all got a meeting reminder on Thursday, but I would suggest that in our future meetings for our club that we also have an email reminder go out to the registrants of the meeting the morning of with that call out reminder of the start time so that everyone really is aware of the start time in their specific time zone as well. One other comment regarding the general flow of our meetings throughout, and I think we've mentioned this before, chat is really effective in communicating with the audience. One thing that I would recommend, however, is if you feel that it's necessary to send a chat to everyone versus a private chat, that try to do that in between breaks in the meeting and not during a prepared speaker's speech. That if you have to send a chat to everyone, do that not during a prepared speech because it can be distracting and interruptive to that prepared speaker. So keep your chats to everyone to the meeting breaks or the little in-betweens, or even when the Toastmaster is transitioning between roles versus sending a chat to everyone during the entire meeting, during someone's prepared speech. My feedback for our toast, by the way, Nikita, great job picking up that role and delivering a very on point to our theme toast. It was very well done and helped kickstart the meeting, even though it wasn't a role that you had necessarily prepared for. It was exceptionally well done, and thank you for doing that. Our grammarian today, Prasanna, you had a really good use of your virtual background by displaying the word prominently at the top of your screen for all of us to be reminded of the word of the day. Myself, I forgot to use it during my opening as general evaluator or during even my table topics, but you did a great job of displaying the word of the day as well as providing the appropriate usage. So thank you very much for doing that. I didn't hear in my grammarian's report, however, how well we did in the use of our filler words and just the actual structure of speech. And even though that this is an advanced club, it still is something that people are looking for, especially our prepared speakers. So if you haven't sent a private chat to the individual prepared speakers about their use of filler words, I would definitely recommend that you send individual private chats to people so that they have that feedback about their use of their filler words. For our table topics master today, Dinesh, you did a really good job of keeping a appropriate theme, a table topics that was related to the theme, and it was really structured well. And it was a challenging table topics because you really did put people on the spot. I like the approach of volunteering individuals because it helps keep table topics flowing. And I think that as an advanced club, I think that is the right approach to structuring table topics versus waiting for volunteers. I appreciated it and I thought it was well done. For our Toastmaster today, Brahm, I just want to point out you were extraordinarily well prepared for the meeting. You had a pre-meeting poll that went out to the members to get feedback about self-directed leadership. All of your backgrounds demonstrated that you were very well prepared for the meeting, and that preparedness, I think, is an attribute of self-directed leadership that was very well demonstrated by you today. I would have suggested for some improvements as Toastmaster of the day for those missing roles that I think we needed to fill in, that toast as well as one of our evaluators. We should have tried to do that within the first couple of minutes prior to the start of the meeting versus trying to fill those roles during the meeting. So if we, which is why it's so important that we show up on time for our meetings. In fact, we should be showing up 15 minutes before the meeting so that the Toastmaster of the day can make those last minute changes to the agenda if necessary. But I would suggest that we do that before the meeting starts, not during the meeting. The other thing that I noticed is that we didn't give the audience a 1-minute break in between prepared speeches to provide private chats from the audience to each of the individual prepared speakers. And I would want to make sure that we give the audience that opportunity to provide private feedback to each of the speakers and give them the time and opportunity to do so by just giving that 1-minute break in between the prepared speeches, and also reminding the audience to do it because the speakers work really hard on their speeches and they want as much feedback as possible from all of the audience, not just their prepared evaluators. As for our evaluators today, Tony, I thought that you did an exemplary job of providing some good feedback, of really that suggestion to add a story and providing that content, that feedback. What I felt that was maybe missing from your evaluation was specific examples of critiques for improvement for Ron. It wasn't necessarily super specific in your examples of how he could have improved his presentation. Your feedback to improve the content, right on point and very, very good. But I was missing some feedback about how Ron could have improved his presentation capabilities. Scarlett, you did a really good job of showing real appreciation to the speaker. And when I think of what the purpose of evaluations are, why do we do evaluations? Of course, it's to help them improve, but really what it needs to be doing is inspiring that person to want to speak again. And I thought that by opening with such strong appreciation, you did just that. And you really did a good job of trying to help that speaker strive for improvement. I thought, though, that the fact that you went well over time, as I'm doing now, maybe detracted and you were trying to fit too much into your evaluation as opposed to just the hard-hitting points. Sharon, you did a great evaluation. Your examples were so specific. There was no doubt for Bud how he could have improved. They were really, really specific examples. And that's one of the keys to a really strong evaluation. And you did such a good job of providing those specific examples that I thought it was really, really well done. One point for yourself, though, is when you're speaking, remember, you're not speaking to that little image of Bud on your laptop screen. You need to speak to the camera in order to engage with the audience. And you want to make sure that you're doing that. Lastly, Nikita, honestly, you had really good eye contact as an alternative example when you were providing your evaluation. Your feedback was all very, very specific and was both positives of what you liked and also the suggestions and opportunities for improvement. So all of the evaluations were very good, but those key points I think are the keys to improving the overall evaluations. Overall, fantastic meeting, very much on theme across the entire board, and congratulations to the team for creating such a well-themed meeting, especially a theme that's very core to the foundation of the vision of the club. On that note, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. Wonderful general evaluation. And we take to heart your general evaluation of how to improve the meeting and take it to the next level. Thank you so much for that evaluation. Now, before you guests can go and relax, we've been around together for almost 2 hours. I have a poll for all of our guests and everyone else as well. It is the same question that I asked right at the beginning, the same survey. However, I've scrambled the answers or so they are not in the same order. Okay, and the survey is simply this: what do you think of self-directed leadership? Okay, having been through the meeting now, what is your opinion? And ask everyone in the audience to vote for what they think. You can vote for two of the things that you think. And I think I've launched the poll. Go ahead and please vote for it. Can you all see the poll? Mr. G, is the poll up?
Yeah, the poll is up.
There it is. Oh, perfect. Okay. It wasn't showing on my end. So thank you very much. Technical glitches do happen. And as the poll is going on, I want to say thank you to everyone for being here in the meeting, and thank you for indulging with us in what self-directed leadership is. That is the foundation of leadership speak, of what we are all about, and why we exist in the first place is how can we develop leaders by making them self-directed so that we take care of the most basic, this is the foundation, and upon which then we can build advanced, because it's an advanced club, advanced skills of leadership and advanced skills of communication. And hence our focus is be self-directed. This is the premier club where you will learn to be self-directed. Having said that, I will end the poll and I will show you the results. And here are the new results. I think, yes, there we go. Now, notice what they are. The top ones is, of course, self-awareness, followed by aligning personal and team goals. Let's see if the first poll had the same thing, all right? And if I can bring back the first poll, hopefully it does work. You never know. Here was the first poll. Self-awareness and aligning team goals was, again, the two high ones. No, I'm not wearing my glasses. Having a vision was the second highest, and then aligning. So a slight little change, but almost the same. So I think we all align that we know what self-directed leadership is all about. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for indulging with us on that. Now, I will end the meeting in 1 minute and adjourn it. However, I would like the guests to stay here, and I'd like your opinion of what you thought the meeting is, how you found the meeting, and your comments about it and how we can improve, or what you thought overall about what's going on here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I adjourn the meeting, but I will now pass it on to our guests. Don't go away. I'd like to hear from you what you thought. So I will begin with Mira. Is it Mira or Myra? Mira.
Yes, it's Mira. Thank you, Bram. Well, I'm looking who else is the guest here. I guess it's just me and Alina. Everyone else are the members of this club. Is that right?
Not really. There's a lot of guests here. So
okay. They just didn't put a guest. Well, it's great as always to see, Bram, your great leadership, a skill, I would say, and talent that you have to bring all the people from around the world into this little screen that I have in front of me. And I'm looking at everyone and feeling it, where people are, in which part of the world, and what they bring here. It's their energy. It was a very nice meeting, well organized. We have to learn from it. Also, I was expecting that maybe during table topics, the guests will be poked on to give a little bit of their say, but it wasn't a chance. So I guess I have to come back. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. We did ask quite a number of guests. Perhaps the double topic master wasn't able to come around to you, but definitely next week.
They didn't ask for voluntarily, autonomous, saying, hey, I want to participate and try myself.
Point taken. Thank you so much for the feedback. Yes, absolutely. I will now ask Marilu Hassan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right?
That's correct, Bram. And yes, Mira, unfortunately, I'm also a guest, but I didn't tag myself that way, so I got picked on. So I got voluntold. So I actually enjoyed that. Yeah, it was a great meeting. I enjoy the openness of the results. I like that because it gives a sense of inclusiveness. And what I find is that with an advanced club, you're actually stepping into your zone that you want to be in. So you've chosen to come to this club for a reason. And if you don't, articulate your reason, then hey, why be here? So I really enjoyed everybody's comments and just the openness of the club. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marilu. And I know that you're probably looking to become a member in the future, so we will connect and see what you are thinking about in that direction. So thank you. Now we have, of course, Luz Sanchez all the way from Los Angeles. And I know she wants to go and have our breakfast. She's been up since 6:30 this morning. So Luz Sanchez.
Thank you so much. A little bit earlier than that, but it's okay. I'm an early bird. Thank you so much, Bram, for inviting me. I really had so much fun. I learned a lot about self-leadership. Obviously, we all are leaders that we have to self-direct ourselves, right? And even when we are children, we do that. But to truly appreciate the speakers, table topics, and everybody that make this meeting possible. I really, really enjoy myself, and I'm very happy that I was able to attend a meeting that fit my schedule. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And are you thinking of becoming a member?
Maybe, yes. I think because it really fits my schedule. I haven't found a meeting that I was in another club and I haven't really attended because of my schedule. But yeah,
Okay,
I'll think
sure.
about it. Thank you so much.
I will have a conversation with you later. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, our next guest that I can see here is, of course, Linda Adu. And why Linda? Because she is from Kenya, but lives in the States. Linda, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Jambo, Bariako, Samaje.
I'm sorry.
You
Thank
can speak
you.
Swahili, all right.
Yes, thank you. I've actually been considering joining, and one of the things I usually do is visit a club and see what's different. One of the things I like about this club, it's virtual. It has a different cultural background, which are some of the things I'm looking for. And I also love the few times I've been here, the emphasis on leadership, which is something I'm looking for. So in a way, it's nice. And I've been reluctant a little bit because I've been an area director and I saw how people start clubs and then it goes tumbles. I had about 2 clubs in my area. So I've been kind of visiting to see where this is heading to. But yeah, I'm considering joining. I love the meeting today. I love the speeches. I also love the interesting table topics, which was a little bit different from what we are used to. I like that. And then the evaluation. The only thing that I didn't see today is the feedback. I think feedback is very important for the speakers and not just for them from the evaluators. I think it would be good if the audience give them, because we see different perspective when somebody gives a speech. And the other thing that I think would have been helpful for the table topics person, if we all labeled ourselves, those who had roles and those who didn't. I'm sorry I was a little bit late. I don't know if that was discussed at the beginning. Those are the only 2 suggestions I would give to the club. Otherwise, it was great, and thank you.
Thank you, Linda. That's awesome. We will take that to heart as to put the role that you have on the screen so we know who's got the roles. And it was my bad today that I didn't give 1 minute to each speaker so that, the audience to give the speakers evaluations. We do that normally, but my bad. Clubs that I belong to, we don't do that. Other clubs. And so I just carried naturally over here, even though I created the club and this is the culture I've created with Brent. It totally went over my head. Thank you. Great suggestion. We will take that into account. Our next guest is Mrinal Ghosh, all the way from Kolkata, I believe. Mrinal?
Yeah, I am a big fan of you and your club. Mainly your club focuses on leadership. I think today's arena, each and every person should be focused on that parameter. And I want to be a better version of myself. So as a leader, I also learned many things. I think the group we are having, I think one of the advanced club I have attended this meeting, a very good, well said. I'm talking about the topic. Everything is amazing. So I love to attend this club meeting and be happy to be part of this club.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, we'll talk and we'll get the membership forms going there. And my great friend and good friend, Ram Lakhanpal, who was, of course, the club coach of the year in 2019, I believe. Ram, what did you think?
Mr. Toastmaster, that theme is very catchy. Indeed, leadership starts not now, but leadership began for me when I was a child, 8 years old. My mother made me selfless. She made me realize that you have to do things to have a destination. Without a destination, nothing will happen. In other words, anything will do. So there is a lot of things like that in this club that I saw is pregnant with so many little things, but those nuggets are really, really important in the growth process. Yes, indeed, the second time I came here, a little apologies for my technical difficulties in the morning and in getting it logged on, but eventually I was able to get on. And then, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. And indeed, I look forward to coming back to see a little bit more. The evaluations are thorough, very complete. And it is, whenever you attend a meeting at the Toastmasters, there's always a nugget that you take away. What are those nuggets? And there are many. And if I were to list them, it'll be tremendous. But overall, enjoyed the meeting. Carry on the mission that you're in, and this club will eventually grow to standing room only. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you for being so generous with your praise, and we'll take that to heart. And we got two more guests that I'd like to acknowledge. One of them is guest Alina, who was invited by Scarlett or Erica. Alina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, all right.
Thank you for the opportunity to say something in what we call KISS, keeping it short, sweet, and simple. I love the meeting because it gives one a platform to exercise independency. And to exercise independency, you should have self-confidence, and which is a very good aspect of leadership. So indeed, this is really a leaders club. And what we need nowadays is a lot of leadership in different aspects or areas in life, because when you find yourself in the corporate setup or in different groups in the community, there's always a little bit of element of dependency in it. But can you imagine a world with full independency in everything that we do, even if there is still an aspect of depending on those that are above us or we are reporting to in certain areas that we find ourselves? So I love this meeting because it is actually opening up my eyes in many different ways, starting with wanting to be intentional with being autonomous from today in terms of my speaking, because I was quite relaxed with my speaking. But last week, I took an initiative to take part in the video production for the company that I work for, Old Mutual Namibia. It's an insurance company. People were impressed. So today I said, thank you, Erica, for always inviting me. I'm going to go for this today, and autonomous is the word that I need to carry on with my speaking journey.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Bram.
Thank you very much, Alina, for that wonderful feedback. Amazing. And last but not least, my great friend, Nazim Mohammed, all the way from Markham or Richmond Hill. Nazim, are you there?
Are you putting me on the spot?
Of course I am. And the last one, because, hey, being a great friend, you have to be the last one, right?
Well, I truly enjoy the variety of the speakers. And Peggy, I must say you did a wonderful job. Your introduction, your body, and your end, it was amazing. And my hats off for you to being vulnerable in this club, because this club is so exemplified. It's so unique. And I must credit Bram and Brent for taking the leadership role. And today's theme was just unbelievable. But what I really want to emphasize is that I was autonomous at the age 13, and my mother taught me everything around the house. But my teachers taught me how to think outside the box. But my mentor, he was one of the greatest people I have ever met. And because of him, I've been able to take leadership role and challenge myself to the very extreme. And Peggy, I applaud you for writing your book. I have not done that. I hope you can help me with that because that's my greatest ambition right now. And I thank you for the opportunity, Bram.
Thank you, Nazim. And I don't want to forget Kent, who is from a city where he enjoys 2 time zones, depending on what side of the city is. Kent, how did you find our meeting?
From Ron, I have visited, actually, I saw Ron twice this week. One was with Guelph speakers and then with the U of G Toastmasters. So
all right.
I've been joining different meetings via Zoom just to get ideas for my club. We used to have a very strong club, and with Zoom, there were some members who never got on Zoom. They just didn't want to do it. And so it probably is just Zoom fatigue, but our membership has, gone down, and just looking for ways to invigorate our club. And also the members of my club are older and not very technologically savvy. So it's great to see you guys' use of graphics. Give me a lot of ideas and so on. And
awesome.
I think having those kinds of things would help attract younger members, which I truly want to do for our club. But enjoyed the meeting. It was very well structured and very appropriate for an advanced club. You pushed a little bit, which is what advanced members I think would expect. So enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, Kent. And if you need any help from this district, I'm the club growth director. If you want me to come and speak to your club or speak with you and help you along, let me know. I'm here to serve you.
All right, thanks.
So you're welcome to do that. Absolutely. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very fruitful meeting. I will turn it over to our president if he has to say anything. Otherwise, of course, we've adjourned the meeting already, and we are here to hang around. So let's hang around. Brent.
Thanks, Bram. No, I did not have anything else other than just to once again say thank you to all of our guests for attending. We look forward to having you at future meetings. And of course, our VP of membership will be reaching out to anybody who is interested in becoming a member of Leadership Speak. But on that note, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Of course, you're welcome to hang out here if anybody wants to, take a little advantage of social time. But on that note, anybody else who has to get about their weekend, it was great to see you.
Thank you. So Sharon, what did you think of this meeting as the area director?
I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoy this group. I enjoy how we are so on time, structured that way, how it's very different from a regular meeting. I like the challenge here. I really appreciate the challenge of the speeches and the evaluations, everything here, table topics, the whole thing, because in some clubs, I think some of the more senior members maybe are the senior member, and it's great to mentor as other, but we also need to be mentored. And this is where we can get that. And this is what can reinvigorate us and help us grow more. So this is a really critical club for people to belong to.
Awesome. And we're going to put together a mentor program within this club as well. So it doesn't matter what level you are at, you can either mentor or be mentored. And Granny 007, who is our mentor chair, isn't here today, but she is going to be putting that program together after next week once she's assessed, and she is going to present a speech next week on mentoring, and then we'll put the program together for mentoring starting next week within the club. And it'll be a very strong program. And we've learned quite a lot about mentoring from the other club that I am a member of, which is my Speak Toastmasters Club. And I created a mentor program there that is very, very strong, that caters to members in a very different way than you've ever seen anywhere else. We actually group people, and they're like study groups, and they meet at different times of the week and mentor each other, which is very, very appropriate for in a self-directed group, actually, in a club, and creating self-directed groups, and out of which more leaders will rise and become even greater leaders. So that is the focus. So we'll see what happens after next week. Thanks, Sharon, about that. And yeah, we're excited about the future of this club and where it's going. And I know, Sharon, that you won't be around for May and June, April and May, right? You got some sort of
We are just getting back to work after COVID.
okay.
So we organize community events that happen on the weekend. So we work during the weekend on the weekends for those 2 months.
Wow.
I'll be here if we have it on Easter weekend and on the May long weekend. But I don't want to volunteer for Roseland because I'll be exhausted, but I'll try and come on for those 2 weekends.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. Okay. Understood.
Okay.
And so, of course, we'll ask the VP of Education to make sure that we can accommodate you on that as well. Wesley, now you
did email him.
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
Bram.
Go ahead,
I
Sharon.
did send it to him in chat. And after the meeting, if Bram, if you wouldn't mind staying on for a bit with me, that would be great.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here to serve you, of course. And Wesley, you've been a bit scarce for a little while, but I'm glad to see that you are here. And I know you're doing the table topics next week, I believe, Wesley.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Did you make the right decision to be a member here?
Oh yes. I'm not sure if I was more engrossed in preparing for my speech, but actually, I'm not sure of the title is. I'm the club quality chair for my district.
Oh, I see. Club, not club growth. Okay. Okay. I was trying to remember, and I said the wrong thing. Okay. So you work with the club. You're in the club growth team. Okay.
Oh yes, but
so you're in charge
we're
of
still
the
working on membership.
You're in charge of the
ongoing problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. I will stick around, Sharon, for you. And Mira, thank you so much. Are you considering being a member, Mira?
I'll see. It's 2 hours. It's a bit too long for Saturday morning, to be honest, but.
Bring your breakfast.
Bring your coffee. Coffee.
I don't drink coffee, but my
tea, water, whatever you need, bring it.
Yeah, I want to be involved in a meeting, so I don't want to just be there and then take my camera off. That's how I used to be in a meeting present. Otherwise, you are like here and there. But yeah, it's a great club. Bram, you amaze me. I'm learning so much from you. Perhaps, I don't know. I have to, you have to trade off something. You have to say no then if you want to be a member here, right?
Sure, of course. Absolutely.
Mira, let me tell you, I am not a morning person at all. And I've been coming to these meetings and it's really worth it on the Saturday. You can sleep in Sunday. Come on for this meeting. It's worth every minute of it.
I'll visit again. And Peggy, thank you so much for raising your voice. Like I felt it. I thought like, oh, I just didn't have a chance to put them in comments because Bram, you will incorporate that 1 minute, right? For the feedback.
Oh yes, definitely.
Thank you.
It is supposed to be there in the agenda, but I just kept going there.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
I think what I did was I talked a bit too much about self-directed leadership and then forgot about the other things.
We all do, and that's why we are all here, so that we can help each other. Yeah. So, thank you.
Blessings to you all. Have a wonderful week.
Leslie.
See you next week.
See you, Wes.
Thank you. See you. Nice to meet you, Sharon. Nice
to meet you too. I look forward to seeing you again.
Okay, I see. Brant, I will have to tell you, you have a really good voice. It's like a voice that you can't, like you want to hear it. So you have a good voice. Praise.
I should be a singer, right? Like
yes,
Nat King Cole or.
And the very.
You should be a singer.
Leader voice. That's a proper word. Okay.
Bram, is that maybe that's your next speech is a song for the audience, right?
Maybe a few dance moves to go with it.
I'll have Nikita dance. She's a dancer, and so Nikita could dance and I'll sing. And Mira, what will you do? Play the violin?
Yeah, well, we can sing with just words probably without maybe feeling the music on the background. Okay.
If I sing, will you become a member?
Pardon me?
If I sing, will you become a member?
Well, if you can sing a love song and play guitar, I'll think about
Oh.
Maybe you can play a serenade or something. Okay.
Oh man.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank you.
Great to have you here, Myra. See you later, Sharon, Brom. Have a
Grant,
good
you know
one.
what? I'm just asking because I'm having a hard time getting on Easy Speak with the leadership group. It won't allow me on. I don't have any ability to access it through Easy Speak. And I'm wondering if you could take me out and insert me again, because I keep getting this stupid, what is it, Built Boy or something, this thing that here, I just want to see again, drives me crazy. And it says, like it shows, join this meeting, click here to join meeting. And I do that and I get Built.ly, short links, big results, and there's nowhere on here to X out of it. And I can't move from there. So I'm not able to get on that way. And I don't have any access to anyone or the schedule or anything. So can you take me out and put me in ENC? Because I can get on everybody else on Easy Speak I have, just not this club. And I don't know why. Has anyone else mentioned Bitly? B-I-T-L-Y?
Well, Bitly is really a shortcut into Zoom, to register for Zoom. So you don't have to use Bitly. I mean,
no, I'm not.
Are you able to get
I'm clicking on join this meeting, and it goes to Bitly, and I can't get past it.
Yes, correct. And so if you're going to Easy Speak and clicking that, it won't work. It's not working really at the moment. So to join the meeting, there's an email that comes out.
Yeah.
It came out on Thursday, so we'll send it out on Saturday mornings as well.
Okay, but do we have, like, if I can't get on through Easy Speak, how do you get on for a week, and how do you see other members and able to email people that you need to email?
So, you're talking of two different things, then I'm now a bit confused there, Sharon. So, okay, let's do this one step at a time.
Okay.
Let me just share my screen here. Oh, just give me a second. Let me see
what's
going on here. Just give me a second.
Go to Easy Speak. Are we on Easy Speak yet? I think we are.
All right, I'll bring up Easy Speak here. And now let me just hang a second. There we go. Oops.
Yeah.
Can you see the shared screen now?
Click here to join meeting.
So, if you click here, this is to go to the Zoom, but it doesn't work because there's something wrong with this link here. This is just to go on to Zoom. So don't use that. Use the email that comes out, and in that email, there's the link. You click that and you'll come into the meeting in Zoom on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
So this one isn't working at the moment. Okay.
Okay. So does my participation, this club and all that, does that all work? It's just not.
But this one here does work. Of course, if you log into Easy Speak, you can, of course, indicate your attendance by yes or no, as you know, and of course you can. This is if I can put on the user. Hang a second.
Okay, I get all this. It's just that I was already on here. I was on Easy Speak, but I couldn't click on this meeting. So, and then I got nervous, and then I never checked any of the other stuff. So if it's just this link,
this is what you will see when you get in there.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with this. So I was just trying to click that link, and it's like every time it's this Bitly thing that comes up.
Yeah, click here to join the meeting is that's for Zoom, and it's not working.
Will it be working?
It will work from next week.
Okay. No, that's it then. Okay, well, that's an easy solution because I was trying for a really long time before I reached out for help. And it just, I thought, I was ready to say, forget this meeting. I can't get on. So, and I forgot.
So while we are here,
I saw the link earlier and I completely forgot because I was hyper trying to get on.
Oh, I see.
So, okay.
While we are here, do you want any role for next week?
What's available next week?
Okay, let me share my screen again. Just hold a second there so you can see what's there. So Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster, Toast, Table Topic.
I'll do table topics.
Speaker,
I don't care. I don't want to do Sergeant at Arms because I'm not good yet with sharing screens and everything. So I want to learn that, but I don't want to do it as a role first. Okay.
Did you want the Toast because you missed the Toast this week?
Sure.
Okay,
And the
so
toast, is it to anything? Brom, in this
usually
case?
around the theme. So whatever the theme is, the theme hasn't been set yet. So over the
Okay.
weekend it'll be set, and
Okay.
the Toastmaster will get in touch with you.
Okay, and how long is the toast in this club?
Toast is usually about 2 minutes max, two
Okay.
to three. So really, the toast is about 2 minutes or so.
Okay, all right, so I'll know that, perfect. Okay.
So I can't assign you the role. Sorry, maybe I can. Yeah, I'm sure I can. I will assign you the role. Normally we ask, you go in there and assign it to yourself. But I'll
Well,
assign you
I
the
could
role.
confirm that on there. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It's just I couldn't
Sure.
get on the
Okay.
meeting.
So go ahead and yeah, log in there and then assign it to yourself.
Okay.
All right, Sharon. Anything else?
No, that's great. Thanks, Brom.
Oh, wonderful. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, that was great. What was I gonna ask you? Just some sessions on how to do how to share a screen properly, and your backgrounds when you do all your videos. They are so amazing. So
I used an app called mhm. That's what the app is called, actually.
What's it called?
Would you believe? Mhm. Yeah, it's called mhm.
How do you spell that?
I'll put it in the chat. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly the way it is in the chat. Mhm.
Okay.
And so if you go to put this in your browser, hmm.app, and it'll take you to the website. And
Okay.
it's a free, it's free application app that you can download for
Okay.
1 hour every day. It's free. If you want to really use it for longer than an hour every day, then of course you need to subscribe to it. I subscribe to it so I can use it throughout the meeting.
Okay. How much is it to
so,
subscribe?
$10 a month Canadian, I think, believe, somewhere around
Okay.
there a month. It's just incredible. But if you're seeing all those moving parts and all that, I put that into PowerPoint, and I put PowerPoint into and then into camera, into Zoom. So it's a really you really need to be good in technology to be able to understand all that. So if you understand technology, you'll have no problem. If you don't understand technology well, I can certainly help you with that.
Okay. Or you know what, even if, I don't know how everyone else is, I know I'm not great at this, but would we have maybe a session on how to use PowerPoint?
Yes, some people have asked for a session. So what we'll do is we'll do a session outside of the meeting, a special training session on technology, and that'll be one of the things we'll be doing.
Do you know when what day of the week?
I don't know yet. Probably a Wednesday morning or something.
Would you ever consider doing it at night?
I can consider doing it. And you see, we have members from across the globe.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be either Wednesday morning or a Sunday morning.
Or at lunch? Would lunch work for other countries?
Some people are like 9 hours away. So lunch here at 12 o'clock is 9 p.m. there.
Okay.
And so we are.
Okay, what time in the morning would you do it, Brom? At 9:30, or what would you do?
Yeah, 9:30, 10.
Okay.
Either on a Wednesday or a Sunday. So we'll put a poll in the group.
Okay.
WhatsApp, and then see where most people can attend.
Do you think you'd be doing it in April, May, or would you be doing it before that?
I can do it before that. We can do it in March before you disappear, since you really wanted to.
That would be great. That would be really helpful.
Help you with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I would be very interested in that. Okay. Doing a great job, Ram. I can't believe
Thank you,
how
Sharon.
the numbers here are fantastic, and you have really quality people in this group.
You say, Sharon, here's the thing. When you have a vision for a club, right? It is the vision that really carries the people. And so when I had the idea of that I needed to create an advanced club, I knew that the buzzword was leadership development.
Yes.
And then when we said leadership development, after that it came, okay, pathway says you have to be self-directed. If people are self-directed and it's leadership development. So we created the vision that all members are self-directed and develop themselves as leaders. That's our vision. I don't know the exact words. Brenda has got it. I never remember any words ever. So when a club has a vision, and then you put it out into the world that this is our vision, Where do you stand? Do you want to learn this and this and this that the club is providing? And the club does provide that, as you can see. So, those who are called upon to learn more about leadership, and this buzzword leadership development was really what gave us the ability to charter within a week.
Mhm.
And so I suggest, because you're the area director, is ask the clubs in your area, what is the vision? Why do they exist? Is it just because we're having fun, whatever, or communication leadership? But every club is communication and leadership. So why do you exist? When you know the why of the club and the member knows why they want to join this club, then when they meld it together, it can become very strong.
You know what I found in the clubs that I've been visiting, a lot of
Mhm.
them, is that the members are signing up for roles, but they're signing up for timer, grammarian,
Yeah.
simple roles, and they're
Simple
not
roles, yeah.
they're not signing up for speakers, evaluate, or maybe
Mhm.
evaluator always before speaker. And
Yeah.
and I'm finding it very hard because the leadership part, everyone's focused on communication and improving their communication style, but not their leadership.
Correct.
And that's really difficult to see.
And what I say is leadership doesn't happen during a meeting. When the meeting starts and meeting ends, in between, it's just managing time, managing people, managing resources. So you become a good manager if you're the Toastmaster of the day, but you don't become a great leader. The leadership happens between meetings when you communicate with people, you plan, you prepare, you want to practice a speech, you want to practice a role. You get together with other members of the club and say, okay, we are as a team, what are we going to do next week? If you're on the agenda, and things like that. So that's where leadership is built, between meetings, not in the meetings. And so that should be encouraged.
Yeah, and that's why this really attracted me with the leadership part. And when you're saying about manage, when I did my high performance, I had John Wang and Susan Hopcroft on my guidance committee. And it was really interesting because I did the same thing that Bud did today. I talked about the overall, but I didn't talk, like I could see them when I was doing it before them in my committee meeting. They're kind of looking at me and I said, okay, other than the obvious, is there anything else I need to change? And they started laughing because I did the exact same thing he did and I didn't really focus. And that's where your growth is going back and focus on, did you do the leadership part? And look at those 360 evaluations. And personally, I did it myself first. And then when I received them all, I hesitated. I waited a few days because I thought, oh my God, what am I going to get? And then you see theirs and you are harder on yourself. But I learned from doing that, because we're self-employed. Here you do everything. You don't ask for help, you just do it. If you're really stuck, then you ask for help. That's it, because there's not enough people. We all have our jobs and that's it. But I learned that I wasn't leading, I was managing.
Yeah.
And that's really important to identify so that you can change it. And that's really critical, and you think, God, I thought I was a leader. No, I'm managing.
Correct.
So it's reminding myself to try different things to become a leader, and that's why this club is fantastic. So,
our education system is based on, do what you're told, here are the check marks, make sure that you go to this checklist, here are the processes, here are the guidelines, and follow that. That's all managerial. Leadership is never really actually taught in our school. It's not part of our upbringing. And hence, when we come to Toastmasters or in workplace, we are being managers and we're managing things. We are not being leaders. And that's why there's like hundreds of thousands of books on leadership, right?
Yeah.
And people still don't know what leadership is.
You're
because we are
so
not
right.
taught that.
You're so right. And I don't think people really even recognize that until they do a project where someone says, do that again, because that's not really what they're looking for. And it's like, oh. And then the second time I did it in front of them, they said, you're bang on. I said, are you sure? Like, is there anything else? And that guidance committee is critical to that assignment. I've seen people in our club, like in First Oval, they do it. And yes, they have a team, but they don't have the guidance committee. So unless you've done it, you don't realize they're supposed to have a guidance committee. And that is a huge part of that assignment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. So This is really good. Okay, well, thanks for this, Brahm. And
You're welcome.
I'll be in there
Yeah.
for that PowerPoint when you have it, because I'd love to go to this app. My son, I'll give it to him. He'll be good. But I need to do more on this and learn how to do different things.
Definitely.
One of my scary assignments, Brahm, that I will be doing is even learning how to share the screen properly.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not comfortable with that. So that's one of my assignments for myself that I will do just to get going on that.
Mhm.
And I'll learn from that. I'm interested in learning this stuff, but it's going to take me a while.
And that's okay. Yeah, absolutely.
it is.
It'll take a little while, step at a time.
Yeah.
You know, in my Speak Toastmasters Club, we had members who were 70 and 82 and 81, you know, Madan Chauhan, I don't know if you know him. And every our meetings are on Wednesday, but every Wednesday night, we had training. And he would come to the training every night, every Wednesday, and we would spend just with him 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time, do this, click this. And now he's so proficient.
Yeah, see, that's what I want to become. That's what I'm looking at. Brahm, I would love it unofficially between you and me.
Yes.
Come join a First Oakville meeting and see what you think.
Sure.
Okay.
Send
Thursday
me a
nights.
text message.
Okay. It's
so that I
Thursday
can
nights.
remember.
Okay.
Thursday.
And the reason I'm asking is because I'm really worried. We had 28 members at the beginning of the year. We have 22. And I think it's in trouble. Now they think, you know, they're focusing on quality meetings. Well, everyone focuses on quality meetings. You have to promote. So there's 22. We had one new member about 3 weeks ago, and we had 3 visitors Thursday night, which is great. But we need to do more. And there are some members who haven't been out for ages. So I'm thinking when I look at the list, I could see 6 of those members not returning.
Oh.
Okay, in my own mind, because they haven't been at a meeting forever.
Sure.
So I'd like you to come and see what you think and
Okay.
give some words of advice and support.
Absolutely. I can do that.
Okay, if you don't mind.
You just send me a text message on WhatsApp so that I
Okay,
can
how
remember
do
and
I
put it in my
send to
schedule.
WhatsApp just to you and it doesn't go to everybody?
Yeah, just send it directly to me. No, don't put it in the group. Just, you know, search my name. I mean, I have sent you a couple of messages. So you just on the search bar, put in my name, and that is if you put me in your contact list, you know, then you can find me. So
Okay. So hold on a second. I'm going to make sure you're in my contact list first. So I'm just going to put, if you're not, I'm going to put you in right now. No, I'm going to put you in. And I'll just put TMI.
I just sent you another message.
Okay.
I've sent you a couple of messages before. Some of them you picked, some you may not have picked. I don't know.
Okay. What's your
But I
cell
sent
number,
you a message, so
What's your cell?
my number?
Yeah.
647 286
Okay.
1468.
Okay. So you're in there for sure now. So if I go, because that's one thing I think with WhatsApp, like last week after our meeting, I got 39 messages from Leadership Speak. I'm going 39. I don't want to even read them, Brahm. There's too many. And it's like, what the
So
hell?
put it on silence.
Okay, but you said to swipe to the left?
So the group that is on the group, what you do is you swipe it towards the left.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't, I'm on the group, but it doesn't swipe to the left.
Oh, what phone? Sorry, what phone do you have?
iPhone.
Oh, then you should swipe.
Swipe to the left.
Put your finger on the group and just swipe it gently. Don't whip it. It'll delete. Just swipe it gently.
Oh, see, I think I erased it.
Oops. Don't worry. Next time somebody sends a message, it'll come back up. So.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
Okay, so with you being here, I can just, when I checked on you, it has 200 messages. And yeah, hi Sharon. So in here, you want me to put, I'll just put FOTM, First Oakville Toastmasters.
Sorry, say that again. I was just looking at something here while you were saying.
Okay, I'm just putting First Oakville Toastmasters, and it's going to be, and it's a joint meeting. I don't know if you want to come to a joint meeting or not. We're having a joint meeting, maybe the week after, but this week it's a joint meeting with Oakville and Herschel because Herschel changed its night to Thursday nights.
Oh, I see. No, best thing is come just to your club meeting, so then you
Okay.
just, because you want feedback
Okay,
just for your club.
so put March 31st, okay?
Hang a second, March 31st, I may have a clash. Yeah, I can't come March 31st.
No, okay. First
I
week
can't
in
come
April.
April the 7th either.
Pardon me?
I can't come April the 7th because I have an event, got several events happening. March 31st, I can't come. I'm already booked.
Okay, when can you come?
And the 24th, you have a joint meeting, right? So which means April the 14th is the next.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll put
April
down
the 14th.
April 14th. Who do we have? Hold on, let me see my work here for April 14th. Oh, that's just before Easter weekend, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I can go to that one because we don't have a show on Easter weekend. And it's from 7:30 to 9:30. So if you come in about 7:15, and I'll get Roy to send you an invite.
Okay.
Can you get on it through Easy Speak? Can you get on to First Oakville and just join the meeting?
I'll see if I can.
If you can, the password, it just I'll put it in here for you so that you have it. Okay, so I put the password in for, if you join through Easy Speak. It's capital FOTM 2245. It's in your, I just sent it to you.
Okay, just let me check. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
That would be great. They think they're doing well. Okay, Brahm, they think they're doing well.
Okay.
And I talked to the president and I said, I'm worried, like 22 members now, and some of them haven't been coming. I would not want to be president next year because it's going to be a hard year. It's going to like really hard for that group. And there's not as many experienced Toastmasters there anymore. And, you know, some of the experienced ones aren't coming out either. So what's going on? They did their own moments of truth, but you know, they're all newer members. So they're putting either they don't know or excellent. And it's like, they don't know. So they're marking it as excellent, but it's not excellent.
Okay.
Okay.
I get the picture.
Yeah. Thank you, Brahm. I appreciate that.
Okay, welcome.
Okay. Have a great rest of the weekend.
You
I
too,
have a
Sharon.
plumber here, so I'm going up to see how he's doing. And I'll see you next week and
All
I'll
right.
be a toast. Thank you.
Talk soon. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
See you, Brahm.